a question that we could propose to all of you is like, what does bring you joy on a daily basis? Like, it's going to be different for everyone, right? Like, a gratitude practice is fantastic, I would say, for people across the board. And hopefully people will start to implement something like that. But even beyond the gratitude practice, like what can you do to bring yourself joy on a daily basis?
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie May Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Marmet.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired.
Hello, and welcome to episode 146 of the Art of Living Well podcast. Today is our 3rd year anniversary, and we're so excited. I can't believe we have been doing this for 3 years.
Yes, we have over 150 episodes total.
It's very exciting, and we're super proud of everything we've done. It's been a huge learning curve, right?
It has been.
A lot along the way. And today, what we want to talk about is finding meaning and joy in small rituals and spontaneity, and finding laughter in your day. And we know this is a lighter topic, but it's so important, and it really can have a big impact on your overall well-being. And so we thought it would be great to talk about today.
But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Shield Your Body. Shield Your Body is a company that makes products to shield your body against electromagnetic frequency, or EMF radiation, from modern technology. Did you know that all modern technology is a source of EMF radiation? Cell phones, laptops, Wi-Fi, even your refrigerator is a source of EMF radiation. And each year, we are exposed to more and more EMFs.
There are literally thousands of high-quality, peer-reviewed scientific studies demonstrating clear links between exposure to EMF radiation and a wide range of negative health effects, from anxiety and infertility to sleep disruption and cancer. Fortunately, there are easy ways that you can reduce your EMF exposure right now that cost you absolutely nothing. After reading the Shield Your Body guide, I stopped using my AirPods, something I used daily for hours sometimes, and have switched back to the old school wired headphones.
And for me, after reading the Shield Your Body guide, I really put my foot down and insisted that my kids keep their cell phones and their laptops out of their bedrooms at night while they were sleeping. And I've been working on Jordan as well. And I think after reading the guide and listening to our podcast, he has finally agreed to do that. So download your copy of a free guide at shieldyourbody.com to start improving your health right now.
And be sure to check out our episode number 123 with our Blank, CEO of Shield Your Body.
But before we kind of dive into that, Stephanie, I would love to hear what's new and good in your life right now.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It's mid-fall, and we've had just gorgeous weather here in Minnesota, which I'm so thankful for. So I guess a couple things. One, I have a senior in high school, so we are into all the college search and getting those applications ready to be sent, hopefully around the time this episode drops. And we're headed to DC next weekend to see a couple schools. So we are very immersed in that process, which is fun and stressful all at the same time. And then let's see, a couple weeks ago, my husband and I were able to get away. My parents came into town to visit and watch the kids. And he had a work trip that I'm invited to every couple of years, but we haven't been in like 3 years. And I realized it was like the first time we had really been away in, I think it's been almost 3 years. So definitely before the pandemic. So that was really nice. You know, he had work, but I was able to enjoy myself too. And I'd never been to New Orleans. So that was a new city and it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, just grateful that my parents were able to come and they were here for a nice long time and the weather was great and just trying to enjoy fall. I'm literally just like sitting outside as much as possible. I'll sit outside and work when I can. And because we know that, pretty soon the winter will be here. So,
right. I mean, even the change in weather from like 2 days ago to today, it was like 80 degrees and sunny and the trees were golden. And then today it's a little chillier.
It is. Get out those sweaters and those fall coats, right?
Yes. It makes me not want to get dressed. I want to get dressed, but like it makes me want to put on like comfy clothes.
Exactly. I feel like I'm back into my winter work attire with like workout pants on the bottom and then like a sweater at the top.
And slippers.
I have slippers on today too. Because it's chilly in my house. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Marnie? What's new and good?
Let's see, what's new and good? Well, we are going to be going to California, which when this episode drops, we'll be home from California to see Jordan's family. And I'm really looking forward to that. We haven't been out there since the pandemic. He's been out there, but I haven't. So that'll be really fun. And let's see, what else? I just read this book called Life Force, and it's by Tony Robbins and a few other doctors. And I know Tony Robbins is not a doctor, but some of the other authors on the book are doctors. And it just blew my mind. And it's really about like personalized precision medicine, regenerative medicine. And it talks about a lot of cutting edge technologies and things that are kind of coming up the pipeline. And there's a lot of research, and a lot of it is very probably controversial, not being done in the United States. It's a pretty dense book. I actually listened to it, and then there was so much information that I just got my hard copy because I'm literally using it as like a reference book. It was so fascinating to me. If people like reading about that kind of thing, I highly recommend the book. It's a little salesy in some parts because he's definitely like pushing his own business agenda. But I found the information super valuable. And if I knew someone, or if I was going through something, medical, where I didn't like the path that the traditional doctor was telling me, this book has a lot of interesting other ideas.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned that because I listened to a podcast right when his book was coming out months ago, and I had it on my to-do list to buy it, and I never did. So thanks for recommending that. And I think it's just good. It's like, it's what we try to do on this podcast where, we want to help people find their art of living well. And that's not always going to be through traditional means or what your parents did or what your neighbors and friends around you are doing. And sometimes you do need to expand the possibility of what's possible and have hope. And I think this book will provide a lot of people with hope that there are alternatives out there that are being done, maybe in other countries, but with success. And so
absolutely,
I agree with you.
And the other exciting thing that I'll share really fast is that I turned in the second draft of my book to my editor last week, or maybe a week and a half ago.
Okay.
And she's reviewing it. And then it's going to come back to me, and then it's going to the publisher for review probably in early November. So that's really, really exciting. So
that's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you. So getting closer on that. I'm really, really happy about that.
Absolutely. That's a huge accomplishment. Oh, so diving into this, topic about joy and spontaneity and laughter, and we can talk about, laughter is the best medicine. And, sometimes on this show, we talk so much about nutrition and, heavier topics at times or different modalities, but just having more joy, like experiencing joy every single day, regardless of where you are. And you could be going through a very stressful period, a very tumultuous period, but being able to have gratitude for something, like there is always something to be grateful for. I know that seems a little bit cliche sometimes, but I have found that, when I'm doing my gratitude practice, and it's just like, literally it can take like 1 to 2 minutes where you're writing down what you're grateful for. And I really even like to do it like in the morning before the day has even started. but it's like starting the day on that note really shifts your mindset and your outlook for the entire day.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. And I think, a question that we could propose to all of you is like, what does bring you joy on a daily basis? Like, it's going to be different for everyone, right? Like, a gratitude practice is fantastic, I would say, for people across the board. And hopefully people will start to implement something like that. But even beyond the gratitude practice, like what can you do to bring yourself joy on a daily basis? And for me, it's getting outside. You've all heard this before. I think Stephanie and I both talk about how we like to get outside. And just even when the weather's bad, getting myself outside. The other day, it was yesterday, it was raining, and I still got outside, and I did not want to go out in the rain.
Yeah.
But I felt so alive walking in the rain. I was dressed warmly, and I came back and I was like, I'm so glad I did that. Like, that just felt good.
Yes. And what's interesting when I do this practice where I write down, what I'm grateful for and what would make today great. What would make today great? Oh, something big could happen that would be wonderful, or, from a work standpoint or personal standpoint. But 9 times out of 10, what would make today great? I get a long walk outside and it's sunny out. It's like really simple. I have a family dinner and I'm able to cook a really good meal and we don't have to be rushed through it. Like, that is honestly what brings me joy every day. It's not like a material thing or even like amazing growth in my business or something like that. Like, a lot of it's just really small. And that's what we just want to encourage you all, that like what brings you joy can just be like, oh gosh, I'm having a dance party with my kids in the kitchen. That could bring you joy. It doesn't need to be something big and from a time or a financial standpoint.
Right. And, it's a mindset shift, right? Because I think many people do get kind of caught up in the minutia of, the big trip or, the bonus at work or whatever it is, or the designer handbag or whatever floats your boat kind of thing. Like Stephanie said, material things or future plans. And this is really about the day to day and how you can find a little day to day. I mean, sometimes for me, it's like taking a few minutes to just sit down and read a book, which I'm not wired to do that very easily unless it's right before bed. Or I mentioned getting outside, but it was a few weeks ago, Jordan and I were home and our daughter was out and he was like, do you want to play backgammon? And I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I haven't played backgammon in years.
Right.
And it was a sunny evening and we like went outside on the deck and we played backgammon for like a good hour and a half. And it was really fun. And it was like so spontaneous and unexpected. And it was really fun. And we laughed. And I just like that wasn't even on my radar.
No.
Didn't even cross my mind.
Because how many times in the past would you have been like, oh, well, I should go do 5 other things. There's laundry to be done, or I'm going to go through some email, or the list goes on, right? As a busy mom and entrepreneur, there's always something for you to do. So just the fact that you let go and did something spontaneous, that has a ripple effect on your mental health because it's something fun and light. And, I even noticed a couple times, spontaneity is actually something I've been working on, especially with my kids. My husband's much better at this. He'll be like, at 2:00, oh, let's just go out on the boat. I mean, just whatever, do something that like would take up too much time for me. And I like everything planned and kind of be in control of the situation. And there were a few times where I did things spontaneous over the summer that I had so much fun. Like, so my son, I don't think I've talked about this, but my 2 kids were at camp. My oldest comes in one day and it's like 4:30. I just gotten back from a walk. I was like sweaty and needed to shower. And he's like, Mom, remember when you said in the beginning of summer that we should go to a concert, maybe even a country music concert? And I'm like, not a huge country music fan. At least I wasn't before this. And he's like, well, there's Kenny Chesney and some other bands and my friend's going to be there. And, I looked online and we can get tickets. And the concert started in like 45 minutes after, there were a few bands. And I showered, I got dressed. We did it so quickly. and we got tickets and just the two of us went. And it was so much fun. We did not talk to another person. He didn't see his friends. He wasn't even looking for anyone. I even got like cute selfies with him. And I mean, it was a highlight of my summer. Just to
And
one
you're like
friend.
smiling ear to ear right now because I can see her. I know listeners can't, but
Yeah. And now I have a whole playlist and I listen to country music now because of him. And he didn't even know a lot of the bands either. We both got t-shirts. I mean, we were like teenagers and he was a teenager, but I was like a teenager at a concert back how many years ago? I won't even say 30 years ago, right? So stuff like that, instead of being like, oh my God, there's always something to do, but like live life, right? And don't let the laundry and the emails get in the way of having fun and doing something spontaneous.
right. And even laughter, like we talked to someone last week, right? About laughter. Like, how can you incorporate more laughter into your life? Maybe it is just watching a stupid, funny movie, but like, yeah, a lot of those movies are really dumb, but like they make you laugh.
Yeah.
Right. Or like, I have a kid who makes me laugh. It sounds like you have a kid in your house who makes you laugh.
Yes.
But like just taking those moments to actually laugh and be light and be present.
And being present, it's funny you say that. We have an episode actually a little dropped the week before this one about being more present with your kids and being off devices. And, the dinner table conversation, we're talking about this in that episode that hopefully you guys will have listened to. But I'm going to share something that's also new and good in our lives. And it's this connections jar. And I have it in front of me here. And we'll link it up in the show notes. Just made locally. And it's a glass jar. And there's little prompts in here with questions for you to have with your family, your friends. And someone picks a question, you read it off, and everyone answers. And we've been doing this whenever we're having a family dinner, at least a couple or a few times a week. And my kids love it. They're like kind of like fighting over who gets to pick the question. But, like one question here is, did you do anything for the first time ever in the last month? It's just questions that anyone can answer. And this woman locally makes them. I'm not sure if you can ship it, but we'll link up her information. And it's really engaging because you learn things about your kids. Your kids are able to reflect on their life. One of the questions was like, what's one thing that you really like about yourself? And I think for teenagers, especially teenage girls, that can be a hard question to ask when they're going through some of those, turbulent years where they're not feeling good about themselves. And everyone has something that they like about themselves, right? And then that just like puts them in a good mood and gets them, thinking positively about themselves. So it's just been a really fun way to connect and laugh. A lot of times someone says something that's funny. So I just wanted to share that.
I want to get one of those. I've seen those around town in various stores and places, and I think it looks very fun. And yes. I mean, you could even do it with adults, right? It doesn't have to be with your family.
Well, she has a couple different ones, and one of them, this one's family, and one is friends. And I think there's a third, I can't remember, but I did buy one as a gift because I thought, what a cute little housewarming gift or birthday gift or hostess gift for someone.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty. So it literally can sit out on our table.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And, we're talking about, getting together with your family. And I know we're kind of coming into that season where some people may find it more stressful than others, but, Halloween hits and then Thanksgiving hits and then the holidays around the new year hit. And I think that for some people, it can be stressful and it can be times where, maybe there's some extra indulging going on. And I think we both just really want people to be mindful going into the holiday season this year about how do you want to feel throughout the season instead of when January hits, are there changes you want to make because you didn't feel great the last couple months?
Well, exactly. And you also can still have fun during this festive time of year without completely, getting off course. Or if you have one weekend or one night or whatever it is where you do indulge and you feel, maybe not so great about yourself the next day, which is a whole nother topic, but you don't have to just like let it go for the rest of the holiday season. You can just restart the next day. Where I think some people like start at Thanksgiving or maybe even Halloween with the candy. And they're like, oh, I'm just going to go throughout the next 2 months forget the healthy habits that I have or that I'm trying to create, and I'll just wait till January. Like, why wait till January? Just start now, which is why we created this community, and we've done it the last couple of years. It's a 30-day Thrive During the Holiday Season program.
And I would say that one of the things I love about this program, and I mean, I need it as well, is the accountability and the support because everybody's kind of going through the same thing, even though your like hot buttons might be different, or your, individual things that, stress you out or whatever it is. Everybody needs that accountability and that, forum where you can talk to other people and share what you're going through. And, maybe this person is feeling a certain way, and then I can say, oh, I feel that way too. And it's such a nice community.
It is. And it's like, I'm going to an aunt's or a family members for Thanksgiving, and what can I bring? Or, how can I prioritize how I want to feel during the meal? And just bouncing ideas off of each other, and everyone contributing strategies and tips and things that work for them. And like Marnie said, we are human too. We have the same similar stress points and challenges, especially during the holiday season. And it's helpful to have this community of like-minded women for support, and knowing you're going to check in with them, and there's a chat that you can reach out to at any point in time, and the resources. And a lot of times it's just being present and mindful and doing some of the things that we even talked about will have a ripple effect on your day. So when you get to the evening party, you're like, oh, but my intention for this party is not to, drink and eat in excess, but really it's to socialize and catch up with people that I haven't seen. And maybe I'm wearing something festive or whatever it is. But people can have different intentions, and it doesn't mean that you can't have fun just because maybe you're not indulging as much as you used to, or whatever the situation is. So
absolutely. And I think, and even the situation, where you're going somewhere and there's pressure from the host or the hostess or your family about, what do you mean you're not eating our traditional dish that, everybody eats? And so, we love to help people. We love to guide people and give them tools for alternatives.
Yes.
Alternative ways to handle situations, to handle, how you plan your day with your food or your stress or your sleep or whatever it is.
Yeah. And, it's what I find is powerful, especially the live sessions and the chat, is that we allow you time to talk through it, like talk through your situation and give you the floor for, a fair amount of time, because we know that not only is that helping you, but it's likely helping the other people, and the other members in the community are also going to contribute, and they'll have ideas and past experiences that can be helpful. So it's really powerful when you start to ask people questions and they're allowed to speak and get out what's on their mind and some of the chatter, and help like dissect that, and then come up with new ways to reframe and new ideas, and just, brainstorm together. We found to be super, super powerful.
And just knowing that you have that community to check in with weekly.
Absolutely.
Is the mindset,
right.
Kind of keeps you in the flow for the whole season, which is great.
So we would love for you guys to join us. It'll kick off on November 14th, so right before Thanksgiving, and then we'll wrap up around the 16th of December. So it's about 30 days. You can head on over to click the link in the show notes to sign up. You can also go to our website under programs, and that website is theartoflivingwell.us. And reach out to us with any questions, but we look forward to getting to know you guys and helping to support and guide you during the holiday season.
And I just want to thank you guys for being loyal listeners for the past 3 years. We really, really appreciate it. We've loved doing this, and we're so excited to see what, the next year will bring.
Absolutely. And always reach out if you have any ideas or suggestions on topics or guests or anyone like that. We'd love to hear from you.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.